Welcome back. Joining me now is a familiar face to the Daytime Buffalo studio and Buffalo's favorite author, Robert Brighton. Hi, Robert. Thanks for coming back.
Hi, Chelsea, and it's a pleasure to be interviewed by Buffalo's favorite TV host.
Oh, boy, thank you. You just bestowed that honor on me. Alrighty, we're talking about your new book, Current Darkness. Tell us about it.
Well, this follows right on the heels of The Great Eclipse, but this is a much more sinister sort of current of darkness. In this book, my fictional heroine, Sarah Payne, who runs the Avenging Angel Detective Agency, goes to Gilded Age Niagara Falls to solve a case of industrial espionage.
Okay.
Yeah, and meanwhile, her frenemy, Alicia Miller, tries to take over her deceased husband's company here in Buffalo.
Oh, my goodness.
So we have two interesting, very, very determined ladies in this book.
Alrighty. What was your research process like for your books? You always do a lot of research for your books.
I love doing the research, partly because I just love Buffalo and I love learning about Buffalo. But what I do is I try to get as close as I can to original sources, and that means old newspapers. It means diaries. I've collected a lot of old diaries that I found in flea markets and thrift stores over the years. Letters, anything I can, because I want to get as close to the real Gilded Age as I can. I want to create an immersive environment where people can disappear into this world for a while, walk around with me, and then come back home.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, your main characters of the book are two strong women, right?
Yes.
So why did you choose female protagonists for the story that takes place in a quote-unquote man's world?
The Gilded Age, 1900, 1903, when this book is set, was very much a man's world. But at the same time, everything we have seen in the way of women's rights over the years had to start with a few pioneers. And so the ladies in my books are representative of some of the very, very determined ladies of the Gilded Age who were the pioneers. And so I find their stories very inspiring, and so I like to focus on them in the books, and they usually outsmart the men.
You do that a lot. Your last book had a female protagonist, too.
It did.
Right?
Actually, they all have. Now, I have some very interesting men in the book. In fact, in this book, there's the handsome and mysterious tycoon Charles Kendall, who is very, very wealthy. He's in Niagara Falls, and he's the one who brings Sarah Payne, my detective, in to solve a case of industrial espionage. And when he meets Sarah, sparks fly. So there's some interesting men in this as well.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to jump ahead because we're seeing your book in different parts of the world. So your book has gotten popular not just outside of Western New York, but in different countries, right?
Well, first of all, I have to thank you guys, and I have to thank all of my hometown peeps in Western New York for the support. But yes, the amazing thing, this is crazy, my publisher has sent me so many emails that have come from Australia, Switzerland, Germany, England, people who say, we didn't know anything about Buffalo, and we are bringing the family to Buffalo so we can walk in the footsteps of your characters in the places that still exist in Buffalo.
How cool is that?
I mean, as an author and a hometown guy, I mean, that's enough to keep me writing forever.
I love it. Now, are there references throughout the book that Western New Yorkers will recognize, or any locations that are still here?
Oh, most definitely. In fact, there are some people that have taken my books and actually walked in the footsteps of the characters. So because it is carefully researched, the places that are mentioned in the books, maybe some of the buildings don't exist anymore, but the places certainly do. And you can follow the streets and you can see where the action takes place.
Beautiful. So what's next for you?
Well, in September, my next book comes out. It's called The Phantom of Forest Lawn. And it's a novel of love and grave robbery. So, those two things usually don't go together. But they do in this book. And it takes place in and around our beloved Forest Lawn Cemetery, which is going to be celebrating its 175th birthday later this year. So it comes out in conjunction with that. So that's going to be great. And then, I'll just keep writing Buffalo stories.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating place.
It really is, and I love that you are opening the eyes to other people outside of Western New York to everything Western New York has to offer, because it really is such a great place.
Well, thank you for saying that. I think it really is high time we start bragging about this place a little bit more, and I'm proud of it, and I want to share that.
What's your writing process like? Because you really crank these books out.
I do. I write fast. I actually have a method I've developed over the years in which I write the book without an outline, and then I create an outline so that I can assemble the book. Now, all of the administrative drudgery of writing is something that's separate and distinct, and I can focus my creative energy on writing. That helps me go quickly.
It helps you go. You have an event happening tonight.
I do. And by the way, it's at 5:30 at the Crane Branch Library in Elmwood Village. I will be giving a talk on Buffalo's true crimes and also showing some previously unseen images of the Pan American Exposition of 1901.
Oh.
And anybody that comes to see me tonight and says they saw us together on Daytime Buffalo, I have a special gift that I'll give them personally.
A special something.
Yep.
True crime is really your bread and butter. When did you fall in love with it?
I think I've always been in love with it, but I think what I like about true crime is that it draws out, in some ways, the best and the worst of everybody. Mm-hmm. So the people who are solving the crimes, you know, their hearts are all in the right place. They want justice for the victims. That's why I called my agency the Avenging Angel Detective Agency. Sarah Payne wants to bring justice to people to whom justice has been denied. And then, of course, you see the criminal element, and sometimes they're not as nice.
Not as nice. Well, there's a lot going on. There's a whole world you create in your books to get a little escape, and you're putting Buffalo on the map while doing it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming in.
My pleasure.
Viewers, to find his books and keep up to date on his upcoming projects, connect with him on social media or visit his website, robertbrightonauthor.com. Thanks again, Robert.
Thank you so much, Chelsea.